In today's video, I want to address the T-47 survey affidavit and its purpose. The T-47 affidavit is a title company form. Its purpose is to establish evidence for the title company that the survey being used in the transaction reflects the current positioning of the improvements on the property, subject to some modifications possibly. With the T-47 affidavit, the title company can make a determination of whether it has sufficient information to be able to insure the lender, and in cases where the buyer elects the coverage, insure the buyer against any adverse claims to title by third parties by reason of encroachments or protrusions, conflicts in boundary lines, or overlapping improvements that are not shown on the survey. The T-47 is not intended for the buyer's reliance for proof and accuracy of the current improvements on the property. By way of illustration, I was asked by a buyer's agent if his buyer had recourse against a seller for failure to note on the T-47 affidavit that the seller had built a gazebo-like covering over a concrete slab that was on the property. My answer was no. The form is for the title company's use, and the fact that the seller built upward and not outward is generally not a concern to the title company. When a seller notes on the T-47 affidavit that he or she added some improvements to the property from the date of the survey, the title company may ask the seller to indicate the approximate location of the added improvements for purposes of making sure they are not placed over an easement or a setback line. For instance, if the seller added a storage shed in the back of the property, but on the west side of the property there is a 10-foot easement, it helps for the title company to know that the shed is on the east side of the property. The exact location is not necessary for the title company to be able to approve use of the existing survey. Again, the affidavit is for use by the title company for the sole purpose of ensuring against discrepancies, conflicts, encroachments or protrusions, or overlapping improvements, which, if they existed and were not shown on the survey, give rise to a claim to title by a third party. The affidavit is not for the benefit of the buyer and does not give rise for a claim by the buyer against the seller for providing inaccurate or misleading information as to exact locations of the improvements. Once again, I hope you find our videos useful to you. Allegiance Title values our relationship with you and asks you for your continued business. Thank you.